Welcome to Forest.chat, where we talk about individual endeavour in Western Australia, what it takes, what it means, and how you do it. I'm your host, Paul Vandermeer, and in today's episode, we'll be talking with Oliver Robertson about participating in running events. Oliver has been running all of his life, and he particularly used running to enhance the sport that he did, or as an element of the sport that he played, which was soccer. And these days, Oliver gets out and runs in events that are put on by other people. Welcome to Forest.chat, Oliver.
Hi, Paul. Thanks for having me on.
Great to have you here, Oliver. Oliver, there's all sorts of different running events out there. What sort of running events do you actually get involved in?
I like to do quite a broad range, anything from a 5K, park run, 10K, half marathon, marathons, and then even getting into potentially ultra marathons in the future. I like to get on the trails to mix it up a little bit, as well as the road events as well. But yeah, pretty much everything I want to have a go at.
Sounds like a whole world of opportunity out there for you.
Yeah, there's so much you can do with running, and yeah, I'm just sort of starting to get into it and loving it.
What sort of things do you get out of running?
I get a sort of satisfaction with challenging myself and finding where my limits are and pushing myself to that. I find a lot of enjoyment in getting better each week and seeing progress. Yeah, that's something that really keeps me motivated and helps my life in general, I think.
Yeah, staying fit is very important for day-to-day life.
Yeah. Being fit is just something that can, translate to other aspects of your life and just keep you overall mental health in check.
And what events have you actually got involved in?
So most notably in April, I did the Collie Trailfest Marathon. So that was up in Collie on the mountain bike tracks. That was a marathon, which was the longest run I've ever done. It was quite hard. I was pretty sore the next few days. But other than that, I like to do the park run each week and look for other events, either by the marathon club in Perth or whoever's putting them on, and just sort of keep my eye out for what events are coming up. I do have the True Blue Ultra coming up in January next year, which I'm going to have a crack at the 50K. So I'm training up for that at the moment, which will be uncharted territory, which is always a good challenge and something that I'm looking forward to.
Fantastic. I've not heard of the True Blue?
Yeah, the True Blue Ultra. It's just rebranded from, it was the Australia Day Ultra, which is held on the Australian foreshore, pretty much where we do the Australian Park Run. Yeah, so you sort of do laps up and down the estuary there. You can either do 12.5, 25, 50, 75 and 100 kilometre race. So yeah, I'm going to have a crack at the 50, which will be my longest run that I've done. But yeah, is exciting and I'm looking forward to.
All right, and that's a pretty accessible event, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a very accessible race because it's pretty much flat the whole way. And yeah, you're doing laps up and down, so you've got a lot of aid stations that are scattered throughout. The only hard thing about it, I guess, is the January sun, which can be quite hot, but they do sort of cater for that with the start times, because I think the start time for the 100 kilometre is at midnight the night before, because it can get pretty hot in the morning once the sun comes up. It's a good race to get into and a good PB course, I guess, because it's nice and flat for fast running.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to talk about how do you choose events, because there's some elements around that event that actually make it a good first event, especially if you're going a bit longer or something like that, because you're never too far away.
Yeah, that's a great event for that, and the biggest draw for me is that it's in my backyard, really. Yeah, I grew up in Leschenault. I always spent a lot of time down at that along the estuary there, where the race takes place. So that's a big draw for me. And then the distance as well. With the different distances, you can sort of work up to do the longer distances. Yeah, so you can sort of start off doing the 12.5 or the 25, and then progress and go longer if you want to, if that's what you want to do. Yeah, so I think it's a great event that they put on that I'll probably take part in each year.
that event there, but then there is such a variety of different events available if you want to go in almost any sort of running direction. Is that right?
Yeah, yep. So I think there's probably more running events on now than there probably ever has been. Yeah, a lot of people are, getting into running, and yeah, there's a lot of events that sort of cater for everyone, whether you do want to do sort of the fast, shorter distances, or if you want to do something a bit longer or get out on the trails. There's something for everyone, and you can definitely keep doing them and go bigger and longer if you want to. But yeah, there is something for everyone, definitely.
So Oliver, there's so many different options out there. What does it take you to get out there and do some of these running events?
I think it takes a lot of drive. It takes, you've got to enjoy challenging yourself and I guess finding satisfaction in pushing yourself. I've always had a bit of a passion for high performance and seeing personal improvement within myself. So yeah, these running events I've found are a great avenue for me to sort of explore those things and get the most out of myself. Yeah, so I think it takes, I guess, a bit of passion as well. You got to be passionate to do these things and consistently do it and put in the training hours.
So you talk about motivation. Over time, your motivation has gone from doing a sport where running is a part of it into running. What was that change?
Yeah, so I've always been a team sports player. I've played a lot of soccer growing up, but yeah, I've sort of gotten to a point in my life where, I might potentially be done with team sports and looking at more at the individual. I guess the running has always been, I guess, a side hobby of mine that I now, I guess, take a little bit more seriously and want to get better at and improve and that. Yeah, I think a lot of the soccer I did play growing up has sort of helped me in later life. I did play for the Perth Glory youth team and some state teams when I was, sort of 12 to 16, 17. So a lot of training. I lived down in Australind when I was growing up, so going up to Perth 4 times a week was hard, and I had to sort of take time off school to get up for training and stay up in Perth a lot. But I think the lessons I learned while doing that has made me the person I am today and helped me have that discipline that I guess you need to run these events or take on a large marathon, ultra marathon or something like that. So yeah, it's translated over a lot and helped me to be who I am.
There's that element of when you're playing a team sport, you've got all those people around you that are doing the same thing. You're all working towards that goal. Now with running, you end up with you driving the goals.
Yeah, that's correct. I guess you don't, unless you do have a coach. Most of it is on you as it is an individual sport. Yeah, you don't have your teammates or your coach sort of looking for you to go to training and everything like that, like you would with a team sport. So you do have to have a lot of, I guess, self-motivation, be able to get yourself out of bed to do that run or whatever, because it's quite easy to sort of bargain with yourself and say, oh no, I'll sleep in today and make it up somewhere else. But I find you always feel better when you do overcome that and you do get out and put the shoes on and go for a run. You always feel better about it. I do like the individual sport aspect of it. I guess with a team, if things don't go right or you feel like you have a bad day on the field, I always felt like, you might have let your coach down or let your teammates down, and that can, spiral into other things. But I find with running, it's all on you. So I guess when you do have a bad day or anything like that, it's not as, I tend to not feel as bad about it, which I think is a healthy thing. So that's good.
Yeah, that's quite an amazing thing where you're holding yourself responsible, but you also know that even if the day wasn't so good, then you did what you could do.
Yeah, that's right. But it also works the other way where, if you have a great day, you feel great and you feel very proud of yourself and that you've, achieved something that you can be proud of and that translates to other parts of your life as well. You might feel better about doing that thing on the weekend, which, then goes to when you go to work and you feel better about yourself. You can have a better week at work or your home life or anything like that. I just feel like it's overall, good for your mental well-being, I find.
Definitely having goals and getting out there and actually doing something towards those goals, that's a big green tick for mental health. You want to do something, or you've decided to do something, and then you actually do it and you feel good, and that's only because you've done it.
Yeah, having goals is great. When you tick them off, you get that feeling of satisfaction and that you've done something. So, don't make your goals too big that you sort of can't achieve them. And I guess if you do have a big goal, to break it down into smaller goals so you can tick those smaller things off, and it sort of all creates positive reinforcement into that longer term goal. So yeah, having goals is great for running. You can plan your races quite far in advance. So you can have, a main race far in the future, and then you can sort of have maybe smaller races or park runs in the interim. Yeah, do them while you're training for your main race. But yeah, goals are very important.
Absolutely. They have amazingly strong ability to actually help you out along the way. Like from mentally, the whole mental health aspect just disappears if you're able to reach even small goals on a regular basis. So we can see that it takes a lot of passion and a bit of grit in there to actually get out there and do things. And that's a pretty amazing thing to be able to achieve. We'll now go to a break, and after the break, we'll talk about what it means. We've had a look at what it takes to participate in running events. Oliver, what does it mean to you, your family, or the community that you do these events?
So I guess for myself, it brings good mental health when you're staying fit. So that's quite important to me. I get a sense of purpose and fulfillment with achieving these goals or doing these events or going and doing something that I haven't done before. I feel like running, like you get that runner's high where it can lift your mood, which, yeah, you can see that lift in other aspects of life, whether that be your work or your home life. So yeah, it's quite important to me. In terms of my family, running with my family brings us closer and keeps our relationship strong. My dad is also quite a good runner. He's sort of always, he's been into running quite a lot, and he's definitely sparked my interest in it lately. And we do a lot of running together. And I don't think there's many people who can run sort of 20, 30, 40 kilometres with their dad regularly. So that's something that is quite special to me.
And what is it about running with your dad that makes it so special?
It's something we've always done together. It helps us bond. When you're out there, you can share these raw moments when you're fatigued on a run that can't really be replicated in, I guess, everyday life. Yeah, it helps bring us closer, and yeah, it bonds us, I think. And I guess the understanding that Dad won't be around forever, and it's good to do these things while we both can, and I think that's quite special. And that's actually something we have spoke about on a run before when we were in New Zealand last year, and we ran up the Ben Lomond mountain in Queenstown, and while we're on the top looking out with the 360 view of mountains everywhere, we sort of talked about that, that it's amazing that we can do this together, because that there probably will come a time where you can't do that together. So I think that's just an important thing to always remember, is that while you can do these things, it's good to go and do them rather than sort of, I'll do that later, or we can always do that later. I feel like just getting out and doing it in that moment is always quite special.
Absolutely. That's quite amazing that you've had that opportunity.
Yeah, so I feel like me getting into running a little bit more has sort of influenced the other members of my family who aren't as into running as me and Dad. So my partner and my sisters have just started their running journeys, and they have told me that they see what I'm doing, and they want to have a go at running and see the benefits that running brings in all aspects of life. And I guess in terms of like my relationship with my fiancée Leah, I did hear on a podcast a quote that resonated with me. So normally people will say, like, you look after me and I'll look after you. But the guy on the podcast was sort of saying that a better version of that is, I look after me so I can look after you, which resonated with me a fair bit because, doing running and consistently running and staying fit allows me to be in a good mental space that allows me to show up in the other areas of my life that require attention, being a good partner, work or home life. So I think fundamentally running is something that, if I do consistently, I know that I'll be in a good place to look after those around me. If I haven't been running for a while, or I might have got a bit slack with my exercise, I can definitely tell that the change in mood, and even my partners can probably sense it as well. That was just a quote that resonated with me.
That's a beautiful quote to have, and it's quite interesting you talk about, how your mood changes and your partner can even sense that change in mood. So there's really, I won't call it a fine line, but there's like you're either getting it right or you're running off the rails.
Yeah, it could feel like that sometimes. But I just think that that's something that I need in my life to guide me is I've always been quite a fit and healthy person, and that's just something that keeps me grounded, I guess, and something that I need in my life to be able to have a fulfilling life.
So Oliver, you've talked quite a lot about what you get out of running, and you've talked a good bit about how your interactions with your family have improved through your running. What about within the broader community?
Yeah, so recently my dad has started the Ridley Place Foreshore Park Run in Australind, and I've become a run director, which has been quite helpful for my running journey, I guess, because it's good to get into the community and meet new people, and I feel like Park Run especially is a great way to facilitate that. I've met a lot of people through Park Run. Park Run is a place for people to connect who share similar values and passions as me. I think this is a good entry point to running events with the ability to continue on to bigger events. And within the community, we've received a lot of good positive feedback about what we're doing in the Australian community. A lot of people are very grateful and appreciative that we've started this park run because it gives them, that entry point into running. I guess we're trying to cultivate a running community in Australind that, has the potential to grow larger and inspire more people to make a positive change in their lifestyle and make healthy decisions, which parkrun is a good way to do that. So we've had a lot of feedback from people that are very, very thankful, and that's it's nice to hear that feedback.
Parkrun is really an amazing thing to be a part of, and all of those people who are attracted to parkrun and just start off even walking and end up doing a little bit of a run here or there and potentially go on and do more. Parkrun is great at connecting you with people who help you and encourage you to do more of that.
I've met a lot of people who I didn't know before parkrun who I'm now quite close with and talk to each other on Strava and always giving each other kudos and nice comments on Strava, which I feel like helps you stay motivated and just, we're social beings. We like to be connected, and parkrun is a great way to meet new people and facilitate that.
I personally really enjoy being involved with parkrun as well, and very happy that we've got one just around the corner.
I think a lot of people are happy about that as well, because it was quite close to everyone in Australind. So you can just walk down or drive down. And yeah, you don't have to go into Bunbury. Yeah, so no, I think what we've done in Australinders has been quite great, and yeah, something I'm proud of.
So there are many different positive benefits to running and getting involved in events which connects you to the running community, and lots of positive outcomes from doing that, both at an individual level, at a family level and at a community level. We'll now have a break, and after the break we'll talk about how you do it. We've heard how much taking part in running events means. Now let's have a look at how you do it. Oliver, how do you get involved in running events?
I think parkrun is a great start. I had not really taken running too seriously until I joined my local parkrun when I was living in Perth in Canning River. It just gives you that weekly sort of event, low stress event where you can, start walking, maybe transition into running, and even if you want, you can, I guess, become obsessed with sort of improving and getting faster, which is sort of how I viewed it. You sort of see the same people each week and you think, oh, I might beat them today, or so I think parkrun's a great start to then, I guess, become invested in your own sort of personal growth into becoming, like fit and healthy. I think a schedule is quite important when you're, training. Creating a running and working out schedule to hold you to a bit of a structure is very helpful. And then trying to stick to that as close as you can. There's definitely some days where you don't want to do it, but I feel like, everyone wants to run when they're feeling good and motivated, but it probably says more about you when you get out there when you don't feel like doing it. I think on those days where you don't want to do it or you're feeling unmotivated, I try to make the extra effort to go and do that thing, because I think the benefits you get from that far outweigh that of when you're feeling motivated and you're feeling good, and then it does sort of completely shift your mood, which like I said before, sort of translates to other things, and it can sort of get you out of that slump. So I look at the running calendar. That's just on Google. You can look at that, which has got all the running events in WA or even in Australia if you're keen. And I just sort of see what pops out and what looks good to me. I tend to look at that every sort of few weeks and see what's happening. And then if I choose one that I like, I'll put in a training plan, which then I'll sort of work towards to do the event. So I think looking on that calendar is good, and seeing what appeals to you, whether it's close to you or at the time of the year that you enjoy running, or the distance appeals to you, or whatever. That's usually how I choose my races.
When you're going through your training plan, do you have any consideration of say maintaining your abilities? So what I'm trying to think of is avoiding injuries, really.
So just recently I've started to do a bit of strength training. So I've set up a bit of a home gym at home and started to do a few workouts to go along with my running itself. Because I've done a bit of research and I've found that it's quite an important part of it, because I think in the past I was doing a lot of running without sort of strengthening the muscles, and it was probably too much volume, and my muscles couldn't sort of handle it, and I was getting sore and I was getting injured. So I think having a good mix between actually doing the Ks as well as sort of strengthening, whether that's gym or home gym or just doing some squats and lunges or whatever. I've only sort of learnt that recently, but I've already found a few benefits with that, just not being as sore, or being able to sort of up the kilometres and not feel those that pain or negative feelings.
It's very important to work in a way that you're injury free, because once you get an injury it sets you way back, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's right. And I've definitely had my share of injuries. After I did that Collie trail marathon, I had a quite sort of bad, I guess, like sciatic nerve pain, where I was sort of moving my neck and it was sort of hurting down my leg. I think probably just a combination of going that far, but then also on the trails and coming up and down, it's quite a lot of load on your sort of your back and your hips. So yeah, after that, yeah, I was quite sore, sort of seeing a physio and chiro and trying to get that sorted. Which yeah, it's gone now, but yeah, injuries are just one of those things that yeah, if you can avoid them, it's always good, because yeah, when you're sort of deep into running, you don't really want anything to stop you from doing that. Yeah, so staying injury free is good.
And there are plenty of different strategies for doing that, and you've found doing some strength work really helps in that area.
Yeah, yep. So that's one thing. I think maybe when you're starting out, to try and, I guess, just not go too hard, not try to run faster than what your fitness level is at, because that can also cause injuries. I think trying to increase your volume of running as well as your speed is also another way to get injured. So I think just taking it slowly, like if you're invested in the running journey, I guess, just take it slowly. Yeah, build up over time. Don't try and run too fast and hurt yourself. And I guess just don't dive too deep into the stats when you're first starting. You maybe leave the watch at home a few times and just go out and run off feel and not try and overanalyze it. Yeah, that's what I've found, is to just try not to overthink it and just go out and run. If it's feeling too hard, then slow down a bit, or if it's feeling a little bit too easy and you think you can go more, then sort of ramp it up. But it's all sort of based on the individual, and take it slow is my advice, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Getting an injury it really sets you back. It can be very frustrating as well. Some people, once you start on the journey and you start to feel good with the running, and then you injure yourself, then you can't run, and that really amplifies that feeling of you're missing that feeling. That's a hard thing to get through. Not only the recovery, but the actual mental aspects of being unable to run for some time, or unable to run as much or as fast as you'd like to run. So it's a real double whammy.
Yeah, that's right. Because I don't take being injured that well, because obviously I was saying before that it brings me a lot of joy when I am out there running, and it helps my mental health. So when I'm not doing that, I'm injured. I'm not fun to be around, I think, as my partner would probably say. Yeah, just be smart with it and take it slow, I think.
So there are a lot of very positive aspects to running events and taking part in those running events. Thank you very much, Oliver, for coming along on to the podcast, and all the best with your future endeavours.
Thanks, Paul. Thanks heaps for having me on. It's been great.
Thank you. You've been listening to Forest.chat, where we talk about individual endeavour in Western Australia, what it takes, what it means, and how you do it. I'm your host, Paul Vandermeer, and in today's episode we talked with Oliver Robertson about taking part in running events. Remember, there are 4 ways you can get involved with Forest.chat. Share the domain Forest.chat with your friends and family and people you meet. You get advance notice of episodes when you subscribe. Listen to the published episodes at forest.chat/episodes. Book an interview at forest.chat/interview. Book an advert at forest.chat/advert. I'm looking forward to joining you with our next interview. Until next time, enjoy making it happen.